Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio, where we break down the best hair metal albums from the 80s and the 90s. So grab that volume knob, crank it up, and enjoy the show.
Showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster holding all the aces, Dangerous Dave.
Hello, everybody.
And last but not least, the podcaster who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
Hi, guys.
The mission of this show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. So sit back and enjoy the show. Okay, tonight we will be discussing Look What the Cat Dragged In, the debut studio album by Poison, produced by Rick Brody, released on August 16th of 1986 on Enigma Records. The album peaked at the number 3 spot on the Billboard 200. The band's lineup was and is as follows: Bret Michaels, lead vocals, rhythm guitar, I guess. CeCe DeVille, lead guitar, backing vocals. Bobby Dahl, bass, backing vocals, and Ricky Rocket on drums and backing vocals. Okay, guys, let's do some facts on this one. I'm going to take a back seat going forward because, Lisa, you and Dave are just full of it. So,
I've heard that about myself before.
So I'm just going to leave this section of the show for you, just for time reasons and everything else. So, Lisa, why don't you go ahead and get this thing started?
Oh, I don't think I've ever gone first before. All right. So we are discussing today Poison's debut studio album, Look What the Cat Dragged In.
Indeed.
It being a debut studio album, the band is hungry, right? We had Whitesnake last week, who was on their 7th album, maybe tired by then. These guys are young and hungry, and the expectations are high for an album like this. So
hungry though, I don't know, man. This doesn't feel like Rocky Balboa or Clubber Lang. This doesn't feel hungry.
So the band's original guitarist when they were out in Pennsylvania was a guy named Matt Smith. And I actually found an interview by this guy. It was really hard to find a picture of him. He didn't really fit into the band. He looked a little more just regular old rockin' kind of guy, if you know what I mean.
Right.
He joined the band when they billed themselves as a theatrical band, which I think is probably somewhat accurate. But Matt and the music they were playing at the time was more like Aerosmith. It was more like generic rock. He liked a more bluesy sound. So they all moved out to LA, and this guy got kind of disillusioned with the band because they were focusing on getting girls and like having fun and partying, and he wanted to play music, right?
So he was a musician.
He was a musician, right?
Okay, fair enough.
So, he knew he was kind of on the way out, so they decided they were going to try to find a new guitarist. And one of, they obviously auditioned a few people, one being Slash and one being CeCe DeVille. And Mike claims that he favored Slash for Poison, mainly because he wanted a more bluesy rock, regular kind of sound. I saw an interview with Bret Michaels, who also said he favored Slash for the band, which I think is quite surprising because it would have gone a totally different direction if they had chosen Slash.
Would have never worked.
It would have never worked. It would have never been the same kind of band. And I just don't think like Ricky Rocket's playing would have fit with that style or anything like that. So I don't think that
playing?
Yeah, I don't think that would have worked. I think this was a different kind of a band. When CeCe joined the band, it changed completely, right? We have a whole new vibe. It's come alive now. He actually had just turned down a slot in Stryper. Thank
shit.
God, pun intended, that he did that. he's the guy who you remember as the band, as the guitarist from Poison. I know that through the years, there was kind of a break from him for a while and they went to some other guitarists. But when you say Poison, no one thinks of the other guitarists ever. CeCe DeVille is the guy, and there's no changing that no matter what you do. Yep. There were some clashes with CeCe and the rest of the guys. The guys were from Pennsylvania, I believe, right?
Yes, Mechanicsburg, PA.
Yeah.
Nice.
And CeCe was a New York guy.
Yes.
Yes. Jersey, New York, somewhere around there. And there was some clashes. CeCe's attitude, they said, kind of fit more with the West Coast guys, like a little bit wilder, and there was a lot of like kind of infighting between them, but they worked so well together and the music sounded so good together, they kind of pushed through it at that point.
Can you imagine if Slash had got the gig and settled and actually like made it with Poison and like that? We would have never heard Slash really play guitar.
Yeah,
because these solos were beneath him. Like Slash would have been able to play every solo in this album with like 2 fingers and a broken pick and 3 strings.
But we would have seen Slash with sparkly eyeshadow.
Oh my God,
Stop. I draw the line there. Lisa, keep going.
Or would, Bret Michaels and Slash's kind of rock and style have brought that down, and maybe they never would have gone in that direction.
Maybe they could have got as street as like Warrant.
Yeah, sure, why not? More big blonde hair, the better, right?
Oh, shit.
So, the band had some issues in the beginning when they were in LA. They didn't fit in with the West Coast scene. They had some problems. They attempted to intervene when a pimp was violently abusing a woman in front of the club that they were playing at, ending up with the band having a large knife pulled on them by the pimp, and they kind of had to learn how to live the West Coast lifestyle very quickly after that. And yeah.
What is this, like Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There was a lot of women around the band, obviously. This is a big party band. Bret dated one of my favorites of all time, Pam Anderson. They dated for 8 months, and very shortly after, she met and married Tommy Lee very quickly. There was a sex tape with Bret and Pam. Not as popular as the Tommy and Pam tape, of course, but another tape nonetheless. And Bret claims to have the only original copy of this tape.
Dude, it's because Bret couldn't drive a boat with his dick.
Right? Not too many guys can. Let's face that. So Bret claims it never left his possession. It wasn't stolen like the other tape was, but still an outside company got a hold of it and it was sold. Neither Tommy nor Bret felt any repercussions from these videos, but Pam's career was pretty much destroyed by it, which of course is, the patriarchy and all that nonsense.
Yeah, Tommy Lee drew that guy a map. He's like, it's in the safe.
Yeah.
Get it,
Yeah.
sell it.
Yeah. I mean, he was probably telling people where it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He loved it.
A lot of people. So yeah,
he was psyched.
Yeah, he was like, it did him well. And poor Pammy, she suffered a lot from that. It wasn't fair at all. And nowadays when she's starting to speak out and she's getting her due now, and it's good to hear from her again. It's good to see her again. So, and
Lisa,
she still looks amazing.
Did you watch the Hulu Tommy Lee Pam Anderson series?
I did.
What'd you think?
I did. I struggled a little bit watching it because Pam was very, very against it. And I do respect her a lot. I did end up watching it. They really picked a good Pam to play Pam, right?
And I thought Sebastian played Tommy Lee. I mean, he's not tall enough, but I got lost in the character. I thought it was great.
He did a great job, and it was a little bit campy and a little bit silly, and I kind of liked that too. I did like, how they really showed that Pam was hurt by this whole thing and how her career was really destroyed. I did like that, but I don't think they went deep enough. If you watch the Pamela Anderson documentary, Pamela with Love, I think it's called, on Netflix, you get a much deeper story about how badly this affected her. So
they nailed the tattoos too. Like you never see him get it that good.
Yeah,
so good. All right, keep going.
Yeah. So let's move over to Bret. Now, Bret has type 1 diabetes, which is a pretty serious illness, especially for someone who's going to live the lifestyle of a rock star where you're partying all night. There's a lot of alcohol. There's probably not a lot of healthy food. There's a weird sleep schedule. This is a disease that needs to be managed properly, right?
Diabetes.
Yeah, and he's, I don't know, honestly, I don't know how he hid it for as long as he did. He did have an incident at Madison Square Garden where he collapsed on stage after some partying. It was a very big deal, very big concert. And the press immediately decided that he had overdosed on heroin, immediately, with no evidence and nothing else. I don't know why they jumped to that conclusion, but he did have to kind of go public at that point with what was actually wrong with him. But he's explained over the years that he's had to manage his health pretty carefully. And, he does drink, but he can't go overboard. He has to be careful. He has to watch what he's doing. He takes great care of himself. And if you see him play live now, you will notice that over the years, he definitely did take care of himself because he's still a healthy guy and still has his faculties about him despite having that disease for such a long time.
Sure.
He did have a pretty serious car accident, not as publicized as Vince Neil's accident, mainly because he didn't kill anyone. But in 1994, he did get behind the wheel when he was drunk. He basically also had low blood sugar. He passed out while driving his Ferrari, slammed into a telephone pole, broke his ribs. His head went through the windshield.
Yikes.
He found his teeth on the floorboard of the car. It was a pretty serious accident. And he kind of straightened himself up after that. So that was 1994.
Lisa, what's going on under the bandana?
Oh, well, we can talk about that.
Can we?
So that's been a big thing. So he's worn something on his head, whether it's a cowboy hat or a bandana or something, almost from the beginning. You can very rarely in the beginning find a picture of him with no hat on, right, with the big blonde hair. But those photos are pretty rare. Most of the time, he's wearing something on his head. But I was going to go into kind of his TV accomplishments because he's been all over TV. He's been on Nashville Star. He won Celebrity Apprentice and all of this stuff. But when he had his own show, Rock of Love, right, one of my favorite shows from back in the day, when he had that show, the bandana was a big controversy because you never see him without it. During the entire 3 seasons of the show, he is always wearing it. And people started talking a lot more about it because he was getting older and everyone's like, what's under the bandana? Well, he did finally talk about it in 2008. He has gone bald. He does wear hair extensions for what you do see under the bandana. And when he was filming Rock of Love, his management insisted that when he was filming, he would wear the bandana because they said that no one would, see him the same way if he had a bald head.
There is no Rock of fucking Love with the bald Bret Michaels.
Yeah, it's hard. But some of the girls have come out to say that he wasn't always wearing the bandana, that he would be au naturel during the filming, and he wasn't really ashamed of it, but that his management company would not allow him to film that way. So,
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Good move.
I
heard, didn't he have like an episode when he was sitting on the couch and he had like a brain aneurysm or something?
Yeah, so when he was on Celebrity Apprentice 3, and also on Celebrity Apprentice 3, Sharon Osbourne, Cyndi Lauper, Bill Goldberg, and Sinbad, during the filming of that, he had a near-fatal subarachnoid hemorrhage, which is a hemorrhage where the blood fills between the outside of the brain and the brain wall, something like that. It's pretty serious. It's mainly almost always fatal. So he did survive that, but he had that after he had an emergency appendectomy. So he had an emergency appendectomy, then he had the hemorrhage, then he had a stroke, then he had a surgery to repair a hole in his heart. This is all within a 1 week time frame, basically.
Rough week.
Yeah, right?
And even with all of that, he returned to the show for the finale and won the season.
Wow. That's crazy.
But he did almost die. And there was a lawsuit later. So before this injury, he was filming the 63rd Tony Awards where Poison was playing. And when he was leaving the stage, a very large piece of the set fell on his head.
Oh.
And he believes that was the precursor to this hemorrhage that he had.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and there was a big lawsuit which was settled in 2012 in his favor. So
for him. Good for Bret.
Yeah, so let's move on to CC. Maybe not the most technical or trained guitarist ever. He certainly wasn't a Berkeley boy, was he? But man, did he have style and flair, right?
But still the best musician in the band.
He was, yeah, and he
In
was,
my
and he was a
opinion.
lot of fun, and he was big. But he had a substance abuse problem, which resulted in his removal from the band in 1991 after a disastrous appearance on the MTV Music Awards, which is still played today as one of the worst live performances ever.
It's a train wreck.
It's a train wreck, and he was it Downtown Julie Brown who was interviewing him? I think
Yep.
it was. He was just not there at all. It was an absolute disaster.
Mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not shortly after that, but a few years after that, I did have a run-in with him personally in Florida. I will save that story for another day. But he did form another couple of bands in that time frame between 91 and 96 when he rejoined Poison. One of them was Needle Park, an ironic name, with one of the London Choir Boys. I actually saw him play with a band called Samantha 9 at Woodstock 94, which was not great.
Wasn't it Samantha 7?
Samantha 7. Did I say 9? Oh, I'm looking at, yeah.
It's okay.
Samantha
7,
7. I'm going to tell you what. He was unrecognizable. Like, if I hadn't known that he was going to be there and playing in the band, he was unrecognizable, and it was not good. It was not good.
Well, that's a great album, though. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah, it must have been all studio. I'm telling you what, because the live performance, to be fair, Woodstock 94 was pretty tough for all the bands to play at, but this was particularly not good. He had his own TV career on The Surreal Life, which he fit in quite well with. Tawny Kitaen was on his season. That was season 6.
Hey.
Yeah, and Florence Henderson, among some others. I watched that, but only for Tawny. And unfortunately, the last episode ended with Tawny basically crawling on the floor, barely being able to speak. It was a little bit of a tragedy there. So, Bobby Dahl. Does anyone know anything about Bobby Dahl?
No, does
Probably
anybody
not.
care?
I mean, I know he's in the band.
He plays
Is
bass
he?
once in a while, I guess.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's there. The one thing that I did find that he said, which I found really interesting, was he did a pretty recent interview, and he was talking about the first album cover, which, Look What the Cat Dragon, is a great album cover. Let's just say that. And he said that they had everybody's picture on the album was equal, right? So it was intended that everybody equally have a piece of this band, that it wasn't one person's band. It was like everybody's band. And if you remember that, as we go forward and we start talking about some of the videos when we get to the songs, they really stuck with that, at least for this album, where everybody got the same amount of camera time and attention and focus. That was not normal for most bands. Most bands had a big flamboyant lead, frontman who wanted and needed every piece of attention. But in this band, it really was split.
Whitesnake.
Whitesnake.
Yeah,
Whitesnake.
David
Exactly. Exactly. But in this band, I think they tried to make it a little more even. Although there were some imbalances, and we'll talk about that later. Ricky. Oh, Ricky. Not the best drummer, but still a whole lot of fun. He was originally a hairdresser. That makes a lot of sense if you look at the hair in this band.
Sure.
It was all great hair and makeup, right? In 1993, Richie Kotzen of Poison was having a relationship with his fiancée, Deanna, and caused an absolute blow up of that band. What a horrible thing to do to him. By the way, Richie, you're a jerk.
Yep, he sucks.
He sucks. Richie sucks.
Yeah, he was the replacement guitar player, and he wound up hooking up with Ricky Rocket's fiance, and that's not cool.
It's
Listen,
not
we've
cool.
all brought that guy into our band that banged our girlfriend and got kicked out a week later.
Just gross and
Yeah,
gross.
sounds-
You're horrible, and none of us like you, Richie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ricky did have kind of a second career in a way, designing and building drums. He opened his own company called Rocket Drum Works. So I went and kind of took a look at, what he was building. I'm always interested in engineering, like when we talked about Delana Scott when she and her amplifier company. Yep. So I took a look at the drums. They're interesting. A little bit pricey, I would say. And their main claim to fame was that you could get the hardware on the drums in just about any color. So they
I like
actually,
that.
they made a line of drums for breast cancer awareness with pink hardware, which was pretty
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
Pretty nice. I'm not really sure if the company's closed. There's no activity on their social media. I haven't found a single drum set or piece new anywhere. You can find a lot on Reverb. Pretty pricey, but I haven't seen anything new come out of there. He also had a comic book company. Did you see his comic book company?
No.
Yeah,
No.
called No Mercy Comics. I actually have a few of them in the other room. The main comic story was called Sisters of Mercy, which of course
Nice.
was interesting to me. It was about a group of witches. Which was pretty cool. He also did a lot of artwork, painting custom toilet seats, airbrushing and pinstriping cars, and things like that. And has another band, Devil City Angels, with Tracy Guns, who we all absolutely love. The bassist from Cinderella, Eric Brittingham,
Interesting.
and Brandon Gibbs from Cheap Thrill. They
Interesting.
call themselves a supergroup. Is that a supergroup?
That's not a supergroup.
Okay. So they call themselves a supergroup. Their first album came out in 2015. They haven't put out a lick of anything since 2020. In 2015, Ricky announced that he has throat cancer, but he's been cancer-free since 2016, and even recently publicly celebrated his 6-year cancer-free anniversary. So
good for
that's
him.
great.
All right.
And he is vegan, which I'm sure he would tell you about if you had a conversation with him. Yeah.
We won't hold that against him.
Yeah. So during the making of this album, they lived in a bunch of different places, even like a warehouse. But the neat thing was that they were always living together. Did you know that? That's kind of, it's like cool, but also kind of weird. They were very well known on the Strip, and the way that they survived when they were just kind of playing clubs and weren't really working jobs was that if girls wanted to hang out with them, they had to pay for their groceries in
Nice.
order to get the, to get the spot, sitting on the couch in the house watching them jam and stuff like that.
Nice.
The bright green color, the neon color that we all associate with Poison, came from when they were, how the flyers on the Sunset Strip, all the bands had their flyers everywhere. It was a big deal to, hang your flyers up and get people to come to your show. Well, they went to the printer and they couldn't afford to print their flyers. So the guy brought him into the back room, not for that reason,
Right.
and because he had a bunch of bright green paper and said, you can have this for cheap because I can't even give this stuff away to anybody. So they printed their flyers on green and it went really well and they were really noticeable and everybody saw them and came to the show. So they kind of like adopted that color as theirs.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. I got a funny little CC DeVille story. So my band was out playing the Whiskey and the Coconut Teaser in Hollywood one year. And we were out hanging out on the Strip, and we were all super drunk, especially our guitar player, Nicky, who, if you know him, he's like a real bad boy. Like, he's the kind of guy you just don't fuck with, right? Like, Nick is just Nasty Nick. That was his name. So he had a girlfriend at the time, Tracy, who was, very bubbly Hollywood-looking girl, and we couldn't find her. So we had stumbled into the Rainbow Bar, and CC DeVille was hanging out at one of the booths with a girl that looked very much like Nicky's girlfriend. And we were all so drunk, Nick goes storming over. I mean, Nick's huge. He's, go, go, go. And he grabs CC DeVille, and he's like, what are you doing here with my girl? And we're all screaming, dude, that's not your girlfriend. And CC was like, hey, man, dude, stop it, it's cool. And then we realized it wasn't Tracy, and, Nicky bought drinks, and everything was all everything. But the look of terror in CC DeVille's eyes as Nicky stormed across the table at him. So, yeah,
God.
there you go. That's my story.
So your story was basically CC almost getting murdered by your band member.
Yeah, I don't know how far Nick would have got with that assault in the Rainbow Bar. I'm sure there would have been plenty of people to rescue CC, but not the kind of guy you want charging at you in a bar when he's drunk. Dave, do you have anything you would like to quickly add to that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Poison's original name was Paris when they
Yes.
were back in Pennsylvania playing cover songs. That original guitar player, Matt Smith, I had heard that he had knocked up his girlfriend, and so he sort of wanted to, straighten out his life and be responsible, and that's why he left the band and he went back to Pennsylvania.
I'm sure he doesn't regret that decision.
Yeah, I bet he's kicking himself now, but that's the way it rolled, I guess.
Oh, shit.
And then when CC auditions, they did like his songwriting. They didn't seem to get along that well personally. According to what I saw, Ricky Rocket was immediately, this is our guy, even though everybody else wanted Slash. So they wound up going with CC.
It was the right guy.
Yeah. He did get fired, like we said, in 91 based on personality clashes and serious addiction issues. Back to the band in 96 and is still with them today. He has replaced his past unhealthy habits with jogging, that I've heard. So, it's way better for you than booze and drugs.
Yeah, it was the cocaine that CC developed. Man after my own heart back in the day.
Yeah, so the record was described by Brett as a glorified demo recorded in 12 days at LA's Music Grinder Studios for about $23,000, which is cheap to record an album. Part of that was actually, kicked in by the band themselves. So that was...
Or the women around them.
Yeah, maybe that too. They cite their music...
It sounds a bit like a demo. I mean, let's be honest.
A lot of these musicians that we've talked about, though, have described their first album as like a demo, though, haven't they? Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, but
there's
like,
nothing wrong with that.
In my opinion, like that Faster Pussycat album sounded way better than this, like production wise. Like this is really pretty janky.
So they cite their musical influences as Kiss and Aerosmith, but attribute their look in this first album to the influence of the New York Dolls and Duran Duran, trying to stand out from the crowd of LA bands at the time.
How dare they say Aerosmith? I don't hear one fucking nothing of Aerosmith on this album. A little Kiss, yeah, but no Aerosmith. Just fucking come on. That's absurd. Okay. Is that it? We good? We ready to start this thing?
Yes.
Lisa, nicely done. Dave, nicely done. You guys bringing the facts. I don't even try to compete with that anymore. I am out of my league. So let's do some opening thoughts on this one. We'll get us started. So it was 1986, and I was at the Hanover Mall in Hanover, Massachusetts. I had big black sticky hair. And as I approached Strawberry Records, I don't know if you guys remember Strawberry Records, but there was one at the mall. I saw the gigantic cardboard display in front of the store outside of the album cover with the four dudes on the front. And I was intrigued immediately. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had to have it. I went in and bought it, and I played the fuck out of it. And I mean, the rest is history. They fucking blew up. Dave, have you ever heard this album before preparing for the podcast today?
I sure have heard this album. I don't think I saw it in the stores first like you did. I used to actually work for Strawberries for a little while towards the end.
Cool.
The big one on in Boston.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was not a great job. Anyway.
That's good.
So the old story about the cover, hey, boy, those chicks are hot. That's pretty worn out by now. Just everybody throws that line out. Pretty sure where I first saw them was on MTV. The Talk Dirty video was huge in 1987. I was 12. I had just started learning guitar, and they fit right in with the Motley Crue, Rat, Twisted Sister musical landscape. They weren't trying to be scary or menacing. They were just fun. They were inviting everyone to a great party. I couldn't decide at the time whether they were cheesy sellouts or if they were cool, but, I think cool won out. I like Poison.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Lisa, have you heard the album before preparing for this, or do you just know all those facts about an album you've never
No,
listened to?
of course I have. And I didn't buy it at Strawberries because I worked at Sam Goody at the time.
Nice, nice.
Although Jimmy Pink was working at Strawberries. He was my competition at the time. Yep.
There you go.
I remember the controversy about how everyone said, oh my God, they look like women, right? But what did that mean? All the women wanted to date them. You know, we didn't want the jocks, the stupid jocks in high school. We wanted these boys. And what did Tommy Lee say? Just because we're wearing lipstick doesn't mean we can't kick your ass, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, so I thought it was great. You know what I noticed is that Open Up and Say Ah came out really fast after this album. They almost, for me, blended together in my mind. It was less than 2 years between these two albums, and in the music world, that's not much time because you have to think they were touring, had to have been writing and recording. That's really, really fast for these two to be kind of that close. So I almost forgot like which songs were on this album and which songs were on Open Up and Say Ah. Now, I was a goth back then, of course. I was listening to much darker music. I did listen to this, but I admit this might have been a little bit too poppy for me. They were definitely lighter than some of the other, glam bands of the era. I liked the kind of dirtier stuff like LA Guns and that feel. These were songs that you could listen to and not have to think. Like they were just fun, like party songs. I like to hurt and I like the darkness and I like to be sad. And this was just really anti that, right?
Yeah.
I have a lot of what I would call now favorite Poison songs, like Fallen Angel. Obviously, that's my namesake on the internet. But they didn't last too far from past the 90s for me. Like once the early 90s came, I kind of forgot about Poison. Like it didn't follow me forward. Maybe with one or two exceptions, even now, I probably listen to one song by them, which isn't even on this album. These were not Berklee graduate musicians, right? This album was just fun. You could dance to it. You couldn't dance to all of the albums. You could play it, loud at the beach. You could sing along with it, but it wasn't, it's no Yngwie Malmsteen. Let's just say that. So
No. It's funny. Actually, you referenced Pink. And
Yes.
I played in a band with Pink back in the day that actually made this band look like Man of War.
Oh my God,
So
yeah.
you want to see a real glam band?
Yeah.
Google Touch Me Hooker.
Yeah.
And you'll see what glam is really all about.
some of my most favorite live concerts were that band. You guys were
Holy shit.
amazing.
Oh, we're amazingly bad. So there you
I
go.
loved it.
no Berkeley
you
graduates
are
there.
you are the godfather of the half and half hair, Des. You had the half purple and half green hair, if I
Yes.
remember correctly.
And I saw it. I saw that imitated
Yep.
several times.
Everybody does that now.
That's
so
funny.
yeah.
All right, let's rate the singer as we always do. We're going to rate it 1 through 100, 25% on hair, 25% on style, and 50% on vocal talent, which I have not been sticking to. I kind of made the rules up and then just kind of went by the seat of my pants every time. So here we go. This one is going to be difficult because I've gone through different stages of being a metalhead. I've been the dark, dirty rocker. I've been the ultra glam rocker. I've done it all. So my opinion of Bret Michaels as a frontman has changed with the times. But if I'm rating him 1986 the way I felt in 1986 as a 16-year-old metalhead, I mean, he was fucking cool. He looked great. He was energetic on stage. He had a lot of personality in the videos, like Dave was alluding to, Talk Dirty to Me. He had all the hits. All the women wanted him. All their boyfriends wanted to be him. But his one downfall for me, even back in 1986, was he was missing that dark, dirty, sleazy side that for me has always been mandatory. And in giving a rating of 90 or more, you can't do it without that. Like, for instance, Tame Me Down, both about talent level as a vocalist are about the same. I mean, maybe Bret's a little better as a vocalist, but Tammy had more style and knew how to deliver what he had better. So he was never reaching where, Bret reaches a couple times. He just doesn't get there. Tammy was a 95.1. So I'm going to have to give Bret Michaels an 80.1 because he is iconic. He's pop culture. So for that reason, 80.1. That's what I got. Dave, what do you got on him?
Right. Oh boy, this is a rough one. Brett is a great frontman. However, not having the greatest voice, and somewhere along the line, as we've discussed already, we imagine his hairline has betrayed him, and we get the trademark bandana. He seems, especially later on in their career, to take what he does very seriously and really deliver for Poison fans. We'll go 8 on the hair because we know it's not there. He really did make the bandana a huge thing. It's almost required wear in any glam rock band after he made it popular. Between Brett and Axl Rose, those guys should get a quarter for every bandana sold in the USA. Absolute top score for style and stage presence. That is his department. That's his thing. Our limit is usually 25 on that, but I'm pushing it way up to 45 here.
Nice.
He looks cool, and he never got fat like Vince Neil either.
Yeah.
We're doing 26 on vocal talent. Pretty limited range. But you know what? He makes the best he can with the voice he's got. That gives me a total of 79 on Bret Michaels.
79. I'll tell you what, man. For all the bleaches, I got lucky. Like, it's a joke in my house. My wife is like, your fucking hair is thicker than like a Davy Crockett fucking fuzzy hat. Like, it's crazy how fucking thick my hair is. It's stupid how thick it is. But hey, thank you, God. I appreciate it. Lisa, please rate Bret Michaels for us.
Okay, well, Brett is very pretty. He has that movie star jawline. He has the bright blue eyes, right? And if we're talking about 1986, he had the big blonde hair that was a requirement of every front man. Bare chests, scarves, and of course we've talked about the bandana, but I have a comment about the bandana because back in the day, it wasn't always a bandana because he had hair, right?
Yes.
But he did wear a lot of cowboy hats. I learned a rule from Dave about cowboy hats. Okay.
You're going to talk about that?
Yes. So
Yeah.
the rule is you can't wear more than one cowboy related item unless you're in a country western band, right? Brett would wear the cowboy boots and the cowboy hat at the same time. So that has to bring the score down a little bit because he breaks the cowboy rule.
Faux pas.
Faux pas.
Shit. That's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
So I learned that from Dave because Dave wears a cowboy hat sometimes too. Dave kept his hair too.
The rules of rock and roll.
You have like stupid thick hair with no gray and all of that stuff too. It's really kind of annoying.
Not too bad for being an old man.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
now,
that's
Lisa,
really
I
great.
got lucky. So I was dyeing my hair and I started getting gray, but it's
You
funny.
really
so,
dyed your hair though. I
but-
mean, you were wow.
But I got really lucky. So
Mm.
I decided to let it grow in, and it grew in like Joe Perry. Like I got this one
Yeah.
white section in my bangs, and then the rest is striped like black and silver.
Yeah, super
I got
cool.
lucky.
You got,
I got
super.
lucky.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
both got lucky. Very
Yeah.
lucky. Not all of our guy friends made it like that. So yeah. Okay. So the thing about Brett is that in this band, if you watch the live performances, I've seen them 1,000 times live. We need to command the stage, right?
Yes.
CeCe DeVille is a very, eccentric personality that's big and loud and in your face. And I think sometimes CeCe is able to upstage Brett.
Oh, every
Did you
time.
notice that? Yeah. Yeah.
Every time.
So, and I know they're trying to split time and all of that and focus in the band, but he really couldn't hold focus with CeCe. But if you see him now in his solo band, so he travels with a solo band sometimes, as well as traveling with Poison. But when it's him and kind of like more unknown, less not CeCe on the stage, he really does command everything. It's the combination of him and CeCe that kind of I think imbalances that. So that's my comment on that. He can play guitar, which not all frontmen can. He's not the greatest guitar player, but at least he can play it. He can write songs. His lyrics are personal. They're well written. People remember them. Sometimes they're fun. Sometimes they tell a story. And when he writes a song, he writes it for his voice, like some of the other people we've talked about, which I think is really great. He's not a high note guy, right? He's not hitting the top notes, but he wrote his song so that he could deliver it. The only thing is that he has kind of one mode, which is kind of the happy poppy soft mode, and there, like you said, there's no grit to him at all. I'm gonna give, so I think Dave stole my thunder here. I'm actually gonna go a little bit higher than Dave, 79.9 for Brett.
I like it. He's a little pitchy too, especially on this album.
Yeah.
Kind of
yeah.
loses his way a little bit from time to time. All right, Lisa, will you please add up the scores and tell us where does that land, Brett Michaels, on the Violent Vinyl Frontman leaderboard?
Wow, we really all came close together on this, didn't we?
Yeah,
So on the
yeah.
Violent Vinyl Frontman leaderboard, Brett Michaels comes in with a total score of 79.67, which
it's
actually
perfect.
puts him at number 2, below Tammy Down
That was perfect.
and above Davy Vane.
Okay, so there you go. Our formula has not failed us this time. It
Yeah.
worked. I love when it works. Dave, let's do an over-under on this. I think I'm going to set the line at 50, okay? So over-under, how many times has Lisa seen Poison? More than 50 or less than 50? I'll let you go first.
Wait, are we counting his solo band also, or
Yes.
just Poison? Solo
Oh, let's say just Poison.
just Poison. Okay.
Yeah, Dave, over or under?
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go over. I think she's seen Poison more than 50 times. Lisa, please tell us, how many times have you seen Poison roughly?
I think if we're just talking about Poison, it's probably around 40 times.
Shit.
Yeah, but if we count his solo band, we're pushing the 100 mark. So,
Okay, so I'm going to include the solo band. That was
Yeah.
right. So actually, everybody, we have a celebrity call-in this week from a disgruntled frontman who was very upset with his ranking on our frontman leaderboard. So let's run that. This is David Coverdale from Whitesnake commenting on last week's show. Let it roll.
Looks like we have a caller on the VV hotline. Hello?
Greetings, violent vinyl vulgarians. This is David Coverdale. Yeah! I'm calling to remedy the intense injustice perpetrated by you in your last program. As the captain of the SS White Snake and premier all-time frontman, I emphatically do not belong at number 4 on your silly frontman chart. I should be triumphant at number 1 over these imbeciles. Please remedy this situation immediately.
Okay. Mr. Coverdale? Well, guess the call disconnected. Sorry, sir, the scores are set, but thank you for calling anyway. Back to the show.
All right, there it is.
Woo! Spicy.
A little hot.
Oh my
Dave,
God.
Dave, if you'd like to discuss that more, please call back. You didn't have to hang up on us like that.
I wish you actually picked up that call and talked to him. It would have been beautiful.
Okay, I'm hoping we can get a call in from CC DeVille next week. I have a feeling he's going to have some things to say after this. So, okay, guys, let's break the album down. What do you think?
Sure.
Get us started. Track number 1, Cry Tough. So on the Fast Pussycat album, we got some really cool, iconic drum intros. You know, do ba doom ba. So this is a very remedial version of that. This intro for me was like Smoke on the Water for guitar. Like you get the guitar, you automatically know how to play Smoke on the Water. It just comes with the guitar in case you didn't know. This is beyond simple. This is that. As for the song, it's super catchy, especially the chorus, which is the charm of the song, and it's the charm of the entire album. Like, this motherfucker knew how to write a chorus. Say whatever else you want to say about this band, he had that dialed in. Is Brett singing great? Not really. Is the guitar tone and sound good? Nope. Is the solo amazing? Nope. Is the rhythm section great? Not really. But the question is the song good? Fucking hell yes, I love this fucking song. Dave, what'd you think of this first track?
Yes, this was the first single released from the album. The song failed to chart in the US, but charted at number 97 on the UK singles chart. It was originally supposed to be the single from the album, but they wisely released the rest once the album gained momentum and started selling. I actually love the Hal Blaine / Ronettes style drum intro. I think that's very cool. Usually I do ratings on the songs only for this show and, mention the videos a little bit if there's something important in there, like Tawny Katane wiggling around on the hood of a car. These guys really sold the visual presentation just as much as the music. So today I'm going to watch the official videos for each one of these, which I did.
Nice.
I love the shots of each guy against the LA skyline in the video. That is really cool. For some reason, it reminds me like if the vampires from the Lost Boys movie were also drag queens. It was awesome. Killer guitar collections here. Neon BC Rich guitars from Miles. During the solo, they show my favorite CC guitar, the Charvel with the hot rod flames. I've wanted one of those since 1986, and I still do. At the end of the solo, CC even does the gunslinger move and mostly makes it. That's where you take the guitar and flip it around your shoulder by the strap all the way around. At least his guitar strap didn't fall off. I've attempted that move only once in my life at the Lucky Dog in Worcester, and I was successful. So I'm batting 1,000 on that one.
Nice.
And I'll probably never do it again.
The guitar winds up backstage.
Yeah, exactly. Great concert footage in the video. It looks fun, and they're not taking themselves too seriously. Music is good. Everything sounds great, and it's not overproduced. The chorus is just a basic gang vocal where others would make it all harmonized like a choir, and it would sound dumb. I feel like they were guilty of this later on a little bit, making things sound too nice and losing that raw edge that they have here. I love this song.
Yeah, me too. I've got a nice collection of guitars. It was funny. Back in Touch Me Hooker, I played Charvels. I had a couple of them, and I wish I still had those guitars, but they were lost. They were lost to time. But I do have a really, really cool 1984 BC Rich bitch. It is, it's got active EMG pickups, a Kahler Flyer. I never play this thing. Never. But it's fucking super cool. Lisa, what'd you think of the opening track?
So, Dave just pointed out that this was the kind of original single from the album. When you look at what the singles are from the album, this one usually isn't mentioned as that, right? It's usually the big three. And
it didn't chart.
Yeah, and rightfully so, because I don't know who picked this for the original single. It wouldn't have been my choice, and it also wouldn't have been my choice for an opening on the album. I don't know why they picked it.
Yeah, kind of weird. Like not a power ballad, but I mean, sort of, right?
It's neither. So it's not a super fast dance song. It's not a powerful song. It's not a power ballad. Like it's none of those things. It's somewhere floating out there.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of builds. So that's why it kind of works for me for the opening track, but maybe an opening track on side B.
Yeah.
It has like a 50s vibe, which I think a lot of their music does, like that 50s chord progression. It's very, very poppy. I think the only thing that makes this not a pop song is CC's guitar playing. I think if you had a different guitar player in here, this could be a completely pop song, right?
Yeah.
The lyrics are cheesy. The voice isn't the best, but it does fit the style of the song. Yep. I still sing along with it, especially like the first verse. So obviously something is caught in my head about this. But it's not a very dynamic song for me. What I did like was the video. So all of their videos are super fun, right? They're kind of silly. There's concert footage. Sometimes there's like little punny jokes in there. There's lots of guitars and color and bright things going on. And you had said they don't take themselves too seriously. That's the description I was looking for that I couldn't find. I'm like, what is it that I like about these videos? Oh my God, they're just not serious. They're just like fun and like just at the very end, there's like a silly string fight or something like that. And then like a fainted female fan gets pulled up onto the stage. Like, it's just like, oh my God, like just a huge party. I did love that, but the song is a little bit like happy and sunny and I can't really relate to it. It's not bad. So have you seen the show Chernobyl on HBO, the miniseries? No. Okay. So there's this scene where the reactor's melting down and they're wearing these radiation monitors on them, and the radiation monitors go to 3.6 rotogen, right? Which is like bad things are happening, right?
Yeah.
So the guy's looking at it and he goes, "Oh, 3.6 rotogen, not great, not terrible." Right, because it's like no, so like that's how I feel about the album. The catch is that those monitors only went up to 3.6 rotogen, and it was actually much worse than that. So I'm wondering if it's actually maybe this is much worse than 3.6 rotogen for me. So.
1.21 gigawatts. What the fuck is a gigawatt? Track number 2, I Want Action. So I don't like these acapella intros usually, especially when like nobody can sing, but it works. The whole thing though is just so simple. But again, we get a super catchy chorus and solid lyrics. And without the commercial songwriting from a lyric standpoint on this album, it would get lost in that Pretty Boy Floyd universe. Like, what makes this album special and what makes this album not Pretty Boy Floyd's fucking Electric Boys with Electric Toys or whatever the fuck it was, is that Bret Michaels, like you said, he stays in his lane. He knows what he's got to do. He's written these songs for his voice. And he just created a thing that worked. And when you've got lyrics and choruses like this, you're going to do it every single time. And that's what a lot of these bands from the time missed. Like, yeah, they had the singer that looked great like Bret. And yeah, they could kind of sing, like Bret. But they did not have this commercial songwriting. And their albums just fell through the cracks. Yeah, I love this song. I think it's great. Dave?
Yeah, this video has the comedy beginning loaded with cliches, including a clip of their previous video, followed up by Rocky Horror style lip singing the main line. They put some production into this video, from the fake concert footage to the filmed bits. Excuse me, sorry. This was the third single from the album. It peaked at number 50 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song is okay for me, pretty cheesy. This is definitely not deep thinking academic music. Cool harmony guitar solo. Oh man, the freeze frame of each guy in the band with their name in the corner at the end of the video is the best. It's like they're the Bay City Rollers or something. Call up Tiger Beat magazine.
I love it. I love it. Lisa, talk about it.
This was a good choice for one of the singles. I like this song.
Me too.
I love the video. I love the concert footage. I love them like gambling and then they're like at a late night cafe. You'd think they're like at a coffee shop on Hollywood Boulevard after a show or something. It's like fun and there's bright colors and everything's happy. It stood out back in the day as a fun video when there wasn't a lot of that. There wasn't a lot of just people being silly. Basically, it's another like. Maybe 50s vibe song. It's not as poppy, though, as the other ones. The lyrics delivery is great. I believe it. They're a little cheesy, right? Like long legs and short skirts.
Yep.
These girls hit me where it hurts, right?
Yeah, right?
But we remember it, and it's fun. And it's cheesy in a good way. It's not cheesy in a bad way, right? There is a lot of uncomfortable rhyming in the song. Like
Wicked.
Yeah. I for some reason I really noticed the drums in this song, and I know Ricky's not really considered one of the best drummers, but it was fun and nice little fills, and I actually noticed it. I didn't hear the guitars too much until the solo. Like it kind of was just a couple of chords, and it was just kind of blah. Cece's always very theatrical. He's very theatrical in this video, and he's jumping all over the place, and it's super fun. I love the part in the song where it's like where Bret is talking, right? It's like, "Hey, sweetheart, slide on over here." Now, is that a homage to Van Halen's Panama? Slide the seat back. Is that what they were trying to do? Is that what they were trying to do? Tell me it wasn't.
I
Tell me it
guarantee you
wasn't.
they're Van Halen fans. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Absolutely.
Then it missed the mark because I really didn't like that in this song.
My note is, nobody's like Diamond Dave. So, yeah. But
That's true.
I also really love the ending of this song. There's like a really cool, like 50s style stick ending at the end. Poison are kind of the kings when they're live of doing those, extended stick endings where they're all looking at each other to find that last note.
Yep.
I love that very much. So
Yeah. I think it sounds 50s because back in the 50s, the drums were very simple, and
Yeah.
we're getting that here.
Yeah.
Very simple.
And the chords were very happy. Like they're
Yeah.
bright chords, maybe major chords. I don't know. I'm not, a guitarist or anything, but there's no, darkness or minor chords in here. So
But like you said, Lisa, Poison was all about being fun in the party, and this really, not only did Poison resonate with the metalheads, it also, for some strange reason, resonated with townies, jocks, fucking everybody. Because who
Sure.
doesn't like a party? You didn't
Yeah.
have to think. You put on the Poison album, you start drinking beers, and you're just having fun. And that's the charm of it.
Your grandma could listen to Poison.
My grandma did listen to Poison. No, I don't know. She probably didn't, but she could have. Okay, track number 3, I Won't Forget You. So this is a fucking killer power ballad. I love this song. The lyrics are just perfect. Even though Bret Michaels lacks emotion, he doesn't sell any of these songs. It doesn't, but he doesn't have to. It's fine. He doesn't have the high level vocal chops either. A different singer could have really made, I hate to say it, it would have to be a different band too. It'd have to be a different version of the song. But Sebastian Bach might be able to make me cry if he sang this song. It would really bring it to the next level. There were some great backing vocals in the chorus. And I suspect these are studio musicians that came in and sang these repeats in the
that's interesting.
in the chorus. It maybe not. I'm just guessing because
That's
it
a good
stands
guess,
out
though. Yeah,
as really clean background vocals. I love everything CC DeVille does on this song. It's probably, I think, maybe his best work on the album. Some really clean, beautiful guitars during the verses. It's a great guitar solo. It's a great intro. It's just all good. Ricky, he's got a couple of little hi-hat tricks that almost sounded overdubbed in one ear. It's cool, but overall the drums and bass totally forgettable at best. But I love this track. Dave?
This was the 4th and final single from the album. The song peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the U.S. They start this video with a clip of the I Want Action video playing on TV. What is up with this?
Seen a pattern here.
They're doing this in every video.
Yeah.
CeCe's heartfelt phone call to his girlfriend is kind of unintentionally hilarious, but sets up the video nicely. The song is great. I hear some synth in the background. It fills out the sound without being too much. Some real rock and roll excess shown in the video, riding a motorcycle into the hotel lobby and riding the luggage cart into the pool. You have always wanted to do both of these things.
Fucking Dave, I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot to put it in my notes about that synth. This is we've talked about on a couple of old shows. I think this is synth used perfectly in a song.
Yeah.
Just enough
Yeah.
fucking flavor. If this was a soup, just the right amount of spice.
Stephen Pearcy and Robin Crosby from Rat, as well as Paul Stanley from Kiss, have short cameos in the video. And the band already is toning down their glam look in this video. Almost no eyeliner or rouge to be seen. And one more guitar for my want list. CeCe's pink BC Rich Telecaster.
Nice.
And then I noticed it looks like it has a picture of CeCe painted on it, so I'll order mine without the portrait.
you could get a portrait of yourself on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
If I remember right, I also believe our friend Jimmy Pink was in this video. I looked and I can't find him.
I believe it was too. I think he was. I don't know if he was pink then, though. I think he might have been blonde, and that might have been why
he
you
had
didn't see
big
him.
blonde spiky hair.
He was the sun god back then.
Yeah, and but I couldn't find him in the crowd, so
It's
we'll
funny.
have to call him up to find out what part
Yeah.
of the video he's in.
Jimmy's tight with all these guys. I mean, he's always kind of known them over the years. And I remember back when I was playing in Touch Me Hooker, we went to go see them somewhere. And, we ended up meeting them and hanging out with Bret. And somewhere there's a picture of me and Pink and Bret Michaels. And I would love to see it. I'm probably 18, fucking black hair out to the sky. You probably couldn't even see Bret Michaels between me and Jim with our fucking hair. So, Lisa, what do you think?
Oh, time for the feels. I have a lot of memories of this song for many, many different reasons. I'll spoiler a little bit. This back in the day, this was my favorite Poison song ever. I've grown out of it, and a different Poison song has taken its place from a different album. I would say now Life Goes On is probably my favorite Poison song. But back then, this was the song. It's a great power ballad. Every single groupie wanted a musician to write this song about them, whether it was you were the girlfriend at home and they weren't going to forget you, or whether it was you were the groupie that they met on the road and they also weren't going to forget you. This was what we wanted to be. It was like a syrupy sweet song and romantic, but real life was much more sleazy, and we all know that to be the case. This video is probably one of my all-time favorite videos from the 80s. The black and white concert footage actually made me desperately want to be a musician and play to a crowd like that in a venue like that. That's what I wanted. But I was a girl. And as we know, that was very difficult to be back in the 80s if you wanted to be a musician. So I think this video was the reason that I needed to get myself a musician boyfriend to be able to experience this lifestyle. So this video is one of the reasons for my awful taste in men and my terrible experience throughout life dating musicians, and how much was taken from me as far as creation and art and being a muse. Yeah, I've learned that Adam Sandler's version of Love Stinks is more accurate than this song. The thing I like about this song, though, is the guitar solo. So CeCe's guitar solo, it's very sweet. He makes the guitar cry. It's it's beautiful. And the stick ending was a little bit of a bonus. I'm really sad looking back on this song. First of all, about how I grew out of it, because hearing it again now, I actually still really love it.
Me too.
But I did leave it behind in the 90s. So I feel like I haven't heard it for a really long time. And I also feel like, even just for the general public, once Every Rose Has Its Thorn came out, this song was kind of lost to history. It was eclipsed by Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and it really shouldn't have been. I feel like this one should have been a mega hit on its own.
They're both fucking great power ballads.
They are.
I think Every Rose Has Its Thorn is probably written a little bit better than just because they had sharpened up their teeth a little bit.
They did.
It's just a little stronger, but they're both fucking so good. They really are. Just my opinion. Track number 4, Play Dirty. So Mike, I am Mike. So Dave. Okay, so the edible is kicking in.
George.
No, but I wasn't. Because I want to say I'm going to say the word Mike, but it came out. So I could literally see the Marshall amp mic'd up in the guitar room, right? When this intro comes in, I could hear it. I could see it. It's sometimes that just happens when somebody's recording a guitar track and there's nothing else there, and it's recorded a certain way. I don't know if it's the mic is too far away from the amp or whatever it is, but I could fucking completely visualize this. CeCe just used too many effects on this album, in my opinion. And this guitar solo is XXX guitar effect obscenity. It's fucking offensive, okay? I've never heard so much delay and so much effect on any studio album in my entire life.
So who do you blame that on? Do you blame that on CeCe, or do you blame that on the producer?
I don't know. I mean, he, at the end of the day, I think he probably has final say on if it's okay to put it out like that. And I really listened to it today. I was like, did they use all that delay because he was playing sloppy? No, not really. He was playing pretty clean. But it started giving the illusion that it wasn't played well and they were trying to hide something from me. I don't know, man. It was over the top with the effect. The whole song overall is super stiff. Due to just Ricky and Bobby just not having any chops and really not having any chemistry together. It's really glaring. And this song lacks the vocals and the lyrics that made the last 3 songs really, really great. It's still a decent song. There isn't a shitty song on the album, really, shitty. So it's okay. Dave.
Okay, no video on this one. So many effects on the guitar. I had the same note. Lyrics are pretty basic. Rock and roll down at the local bar. The feel is good. I thought pretty signature Poison sound. They add little guitar licks and some shaker or tambourine to keep things moving along. When Brett says, come on, man, let's take this right outside. I do not believe it for a second.
No.
He seems too friendly to fight anybody. And, so definitely some impressive licks in the guitar solo, I thought. Song was okay. They could have shortened up the end a little bit.
Nice. Lisa, what do you got?
Well, at least we have a little more sleaze. This song is a little darker, I think, than the other songs, a little less poppy, until the vocals come in. And then you've got sleazy music with pop vocals over it, which is a little bit unbalanced for me. The lyrics are about guys gambling and getting tattoos. Okay, very 80s topic. Not horrible yet, right? Then when he says, act tough, did you get that? Act tough or something like that. I threw up a little bit in my mouth. Just
Are you tough
terrible.
enough?
Act tough. Horrible. The guitar solo is a little more sleazy than the other ones. I like it. I did not notice that there were too many effects on the guitars. Of course, I'm not a musician or anything like that, but it didn't stand out to me.
Tons. You notice how like the sound, like right in the beginning, where it kind of sounds like it's underwater
Yeah.
almost. Yeah, that's
And
like
you think that's a bad thing?
well, not necessarily, but it's just very. It's a lot. Like they could have dialed it back a little bit. That's chorus, and they could have dialed it back a little bit.
Yeah.
To make it a little more straight sounding.
For me, it was the delay they put on the fast parts of the guitar solo. It got
there was a lot.
Crazy. It got crazy. He was playing fast already, and then you like quadruple it. It was nuts. It was nuts. I'm sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
There's a little bridge between before the last verse, which I actually like. That's probably the only part of the song besides basically the solo that I kind of liked. By the last verse, I'm getting bored and I'm looking to be able to fast forward it, but I know that I have to listen to it for this show. Back in the day, I probably did fast forward it. I don't remember this song very much. Not great, not terrible, maybe more terrible than great. So
Yeah. I don't think I've listened to a single Poison song in 20 years. Literally. It's been forever. I'm like you. I forgot it. After that second album, probably I never listened to them again. Track number 5, Look What the Cat Dragged In. So I listened to this album at work today, actually. I put it on. I just listened to it. And honestly, it was better at work today because I came home and I listened to it again to do my write-up. And I was like, because I took an edible at work today. I usually don't, but I had a lot of work today. It was a super long day. So I'm listening to it, and I look at the cat. The guys are looking at me. They're like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. So I love this song. I love the story Bret Michaels is spinning. And again, it's fucking gay. It's super soft. It's super vanilla, but it's fun, and I enjoy it. But Bret, this is the only time on the entire album where Bret goes for a vocal he just can't hit. Half alive, half dead. I just can't tell.
and he screeches. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. It's fucking brutal. He misses the note. It's completely off. CeCe, this is where CeCe, and he does it only a couple times on the album, which kind of bums me out. I wish he had just it's the Mick Mars thing. It's like, do what you do. And what CeCe DeVille does great is he plays good glam blues, right? I made that up today. It's glam blues. And he rips it, man. He rips it. He rips it on this song. Again, Ricky and Bobby, they're just glam jamming. And I made that up today, too. Okay, this is what a bass player and a drummer really can't play, but they look great. So they're just glam jamming, and I'm fine with it. But it's definitely limiting this album a bit. Like even on the Faster Pussycat album, where we're not getting a great bass player and a great drummer, but they're miles above what we're getting here. Like another stratosphere, and that was simple glam jamming. And then you go to the next level that would be like STP, like the drummer of Stone Temple Pilots, which is just fucking phenomenal. So, I mean, there is like definite levels to all of this shit when we talk about it. And I also was saying this today to my wife, like about this album and how I was going to rate it. And, you got to remember now. So we've shifted this show over to more of an 80s, 90s, hair metal type thing. And, for Lisa, we're slotting in some like other kind of genres, but we're making sure that people still have long hair and still sort of hair metal. Okay. But I would never, like when I rate this song and this album, it's on that scale. Okay. So like, let's say an 80 on this show would not be an 80 on the old show. Like, you couldn't put this up against, fucking
Thriller or something like that.
yeah, or like
Yeah.
some great album, right? So keep that in mind, okay? Like, I understand this album isn't going to be what the score is, but in this genre, that's what I'm talking about. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I like the riff on this one, but we got some more crazy effects here. The song is pretty good, descriptive lyrics. We even get a little drum break in the middle of the guitar solo. I kind of like Ricky Rocket's playing. I think he doesn't get enough credit for his unique drumming style. I mean, he's doing a lot of moves that I've never seen anybody else do. I mean, you see Tommy Lee doing, spinning his sticks and doing all that stuff. But like the flash stuff that Ricky Rocket does, I've never seen anybody else copy. But, you could also slam that saying that, nobody wants to copy it or whatever. But I think he played some cool stuff. Anyway, hard to hear the bass on quite a lot of the album. You can't really hear it in this song. But yeah, good song still.
Dave, if Tommy Lee was playing these drum tracks, he could build a Lego Death Star at the same time, okay? Like, come on. This guy's fucking terrible. He's so simple. It's over the top simple. It's fine, though.
Maybe it's a good thing because it kind of worked for what they went through. Like a poppy song needs a simple drum line.
No,
Yeah, he's playing with one hand and he's like combing his hair with the other hand.
No, there's good
Come
simple
on.
and there's good simple and then there's not great simple. This is like just too simple. Lisa, go ahead. That's just my opinion. If you love Ricky Rocket, God bless you.
So this is the title track from the album. Looking at some other albums, it's ironic that the title tracks aren't also singles because if they like the name so much, you would think the song would be, their favorite too. But you don't usually see that. Usually the title track isn't one of the singles from the album. Same thing here. But actually, I kind of like this song. It's 50s style. The lyrics are fun. A little dark, but fun. I got a foot in the gutter, a foot in the grave, ain't seen home in the last 3 days. How much fun is that?
It's so much fun.
I got a girl on the left of me, a girl on the right. I know damn well I slept with both last night. Come on.
love it.
Everybody knows those lines. Like, they're just fun and silly and stupid, and I love it.
It's the charm of the album.
It's
the charm of the album.
Yeah. Back in the day, my mom used to say this to me when I used to come in from a concert and my makeup would be, dragging down my face and my teased hair would be flat and, I'd be a mess and I'd have rips in my stockings and, whatever it was. She would say that. My little Irish mom would say that to me until I showed her the video for this song. And then she never said that to me again. The black and white footage of the girl dressed like a cat with the giant cat head in the background. And yeah, super kind of cool, a little bit maybe art house. I really like this video. The band footage when they switch, I don't know if you noticed this in the video. When they go from the black and white footage of the woman in lingerie to the band footage, the black and white bleeds into the band footage before the color like pops in after. It's a
never
really
noticed.
cool little effect. I know it's a little tiny thing, but I really liked that.
I'll have to look at that.
It's just another cheesy song. I love the cat purr he does, but right before the guitar solo. You guys probably hate that. My note
God.
is you guys hate that. And of course, Dave's over here going, ew. Yeah, it's so cute.
Well, I
I
just got my
love that.
first cat, Mr. Jinx, so
Aw.
I'm gonna let it slide.
Nice. The guitar solo is very 50s. It's like a 50s style, but with an 80s scream. I like the song. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Ricky Rocket's fine. I don't mean to be bashing Ricky Rocket. It fit the album, and it's fine. And it wasn't about, when I put this album on, it wasn't about hearing amazing drums and bass lines. So yeah, I have to just say it because we're breaking the album down. But like in the world of like Poison in 1986, never had a problem with it. Everything sounded fine. Okay, so that's it. We have ended side A at an hour and 11 minutes. I hope you guys are enjoying the extra content this evening. So, being we are breaking into the Halloween season, I am going to do a Fast Five as promised last week. And the Fast Five is going to be 5 methods of murder. What is worse, okay? So what is worse? This would be, which would you think would be a worse way to die? Number 1, death by chainsaw. Or death by butcher knife. Dave.
butcher knife because it's probably not going to be as fast and go through you.
Okay, Lisa, which
Oh,
one?
I was gonna say chainsaw because it kind of like you're torn up and like I don't know. I feel like butcher knife you can just like cut an artery and it's over. You're gone, right? I'm saying chainsaw.
The correct answer is butcher knife because it's very intimate and slow.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Number 2, buried alive or drowning by a cinder block chained to the ankle thrown off
God.
a boat. Dave, what is worse?
Wow. Probably buried alive because you have all the weight of that dirt on you.
Okay, Lisa. No, you're in a
100%.
casket. You're in a casket.
100%, even in a
Oh, the
casket.
casket can break.
Yeah, even in buried alive, 100% totally worse. That's like my worst nightmare. Drowning is a very peaceful death. I understand.
Oh, with a cinder block chained to your ankle sounds very
It's
peaceful.
You still like go to sleep. So.
I hope that's how I go. No, the correct answer is buried alive. And I'll tell you why. Because they put you in the box, they put you underground. You end up just passing out from lack of air after like an hour and you go to sleep. You're chained to a fucking cinder block thrown off a boat. Imagine the panic. You're trying to chew through your fucking ankle. No, you don't want that. Okay. Number 3, poison causing unspeakable pain for 2 days before death or starvation. Which is worse?
I think the poison would be worse.
Lisa.
Oh, that's really hard. I'm gonna go with poison.
Okay. The correct answer is death by starvation. Dude,
Really?
it take you fucking 2 weeks to die from starvation. I'll take 2 days of fucking the
But
stomach ache.
I think your mind goes faster in that way. With the poison, you're fully alert for the whole 2 days of pain.
Holy shit. Okay. Eaten alive by a cannibalistic serial killer. Or skinned alive by a man making a suit. Making a woman's suit. Dave, which one's worse?
Oof. Neither one sounds good to me. Skinned alive would probably be worse. It would probably hurt more.
Okay, Lisa.
I'm gonna say skinned alive too. I think if you're eaten by a cannibal, you at least get like famous. You'll be like one of the famous serial killer victims, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the correct answer is eaten alive by a cannibalistic serial killer. That sounds horrifying. I don't want to be eaten. I don't want to be lunch. And the final one. So this one's great. Number 5. Death by starving rat in a cage placed on your head for 2 weeks. Or death by a school of rabid piranha in a giant fish tank. Dave, what's worse?
I think the rat would be worse.
Oh yeah.
It would take longer.
Take a lot longer. They use that for torture in the Soviet Union.
I know, I've
yeah.
seen the picture. Yeah, the correct answer is death by starving rat. You know how small that thing's mouth is? It's going to take a lot of bites. Okay, so there we go. Fast 5. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Wow, that was dark.
It was. I told you.
I'm rubbing off on you guys. Jeez.
Halloween, all right? Okay, so track number 6, B-side. If you listen to the show on vinyl, flip it over. Here we go. Talk Dirty to Me. So, of course, I love this song. And here's a fun fact. This is the first guitar solo I ever learned, like really learned. I heard it. I'm like, I want to learn this note for note. Perfect. I learned it. I broke it down. I perfected it. And as a 16-year-old, I would go to parties and play this and just I thought I was playing like Eruption by fucking Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, it's the greatest thing ever. It's very basic, but it's a very good solo. I enjoy it. Bobby Dahl absolutely sucks on this song, especially at the end of the guitar solo. He hits these like 4 fart notes, and the bass sound is as bad as his playing. It is a fucking shit show. Dave, what do you got?
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Well, this is the second Dirty song on the album after Play Dirty.
Yeah.
This was their second single. The song peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the band's first top 40 hit in the U.S. and establishing Poison as one of the top-selling rock acts of the decade. By 1990, the album was certified triple platinum. That is 3 million copies. Here's the big one. This is the big song. This was one of the very, very first songs I learned on guitar when I went for lessons.
Both of you then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's accessible,
Yeah.
which is a nice way of saying simple. When I went for lessons at American Music in Fords, New Jersey, Sadly, they are not there anymore. That is also where I got my first 2 electric guitars from. I've played this one many times with my old 80s cover band, the Sunset Strippers. We have my video watch report here is we're doing the old video again on the TV from their last video.
Oh, God.
Look at all those neon color pointy guitars. I love it. They look like they're having a really fun time making the video. CC even does the curly shuffle on the floor during his guitar solo. This is an 80s metal classic.
I love that scene where he jumps over Brett's shoulder, rolls into the solo. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. In an article from Revolver magazine, 6 glam metal albums you need to own, lists this album among Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses and Faster Pussycat's 1987 debut. They claim if Talk Dirty to Me had been recorded by the Sex Pistols for Nevermind the Bollocks, snotty rock critics everywhere would be hailing it as the greatest punk rock song of all time.
Oh, my.
And, maybe they're not wrong. There was some controversy over the origin of this song. It was generally thought CC had written it with his former band before Poison and brought it into them during his audition. A 2011 lawsuit claims that in the early 80s, CC had auditioned for another band. I'm not going to name them because I think it's bullshit. But that it was in fact their song along with I Won't Forget You off this album and 2 songs off of their second album. Sounds like sour grapes to me from some failed musicians. Lawyers for Poison dismissed the suit as baseless, noting that if the allegation was true, the plaintiffs would be extremely unlikely to wait 25 years to seek remedy. And, why not sue when Poison had tons of money and was at the top of the charts? The judge ultimately ruled in Poison's favor in 2013, ruling that the statute of limitations on any potential copyright infringement had long since run out.
I need to know, what's the band? Who's the band?
I didn't even write it down. It was...
Okay.
If you go on like Wikipedia or something, you can find it. It was like Dead Kids or something like that.
I've never heard that story.
Yeah, I never heard it before.
Matter. So it didn't even matter. It was a nobody.
I didn't
band.
even know there was a lawsuit. And why would you wait 25 years
Exactly.
to sue them? That seems silly.
So, and Classic Rock Magazine ranked the music video for this song at number 7 on their list of the top 10 best hair metal videos. The magazine declared that if you really want to know why hair metal was so big, then this song is all you need.
It's true. It was TNT in the year it came out.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa.
Well, obviously, this is the song. Even back in the day, the first time I'm hearing this album, before, the explosion came along, I knew that this was the song, right? I love the guitar riffs. I love the energy. I love that I can still sing every single lyric. I want to be the girl that this was written about. People have sung it to me before. Love that. I liked that it was a little risque and that there was some controversy about how risque this song was. They played it on the radio anyway. And if you remember, this was during the time of the PMRC, the Parents Music Resource Center, led by 4 women, including Tipper Gore, wife of former Vice President Al Gore. An absolute waste of money and resources, but it was super fun to watch the Senate hearing with Frank Zappa and Dee Snider and even John Denver put these crusty old women in their place. They didn't expect these men to be educated and eloquent. They expected like drunk party boys, and that's not what they got, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dee Snider brought it. He was quite articulate.
Yeah. So this is the one of the few times I don't mind that they're using baby in the lyrics when he says, and baby, talk dirty to me. It's fine. You can do that. I like the ooh, yeah, at the end. Like just silly stuff. It was fun. The video was how many times did you have to sit through this video on MTV? Eventually, like, it was almost too much, right? They played it like every hour. It was crazy. And the guitars, there was a hallway of guitars in this video. Did you see that?
I did.
yeah.
That's why I wrote
Yes.
the note.
Yeah, a hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of silly antics on stage.
I want to live in that hallway.
Right. Yeah. They're crawling, they're jumping. We get Brett with the red leather daddy hat. We then see, and a few scenes later, Ricky wearing the red leather daddy hat. They're trading clothes. There's nothing at all like this today. Everyone knows this song. It's played at every 80s nightclub. You can dance to it. Every 80s cover band plays this song. And you've now shown me why, because apparently it's easy to learn and play. I did not know that. Yeah, it's a perfect representation of the decadence of the 80s.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's easy to learn, but difficult to master.
That's not true. It's just easy to learn. Yeah, it's funny. Actually, I had an older friend named Lee who he was like 2 years older. He always had killer muscle cars. He looked like Nikki Sixx. He was just a total badass. I loved this dude back in the day. He was like my dude, and he was a guitar player, and he was a little bit ahead of me, and he actually was the one that taught me this solo. So shout out to Lee if you're listening. He still looks like Nikki Sixx now, actually. So there you go. Yeah, good guy, cool guy. All right, anything else on this one, or you want to move on?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, track number 7, Want Some, Need Some. So Dave, suddenly the production got a little better, right? Or am I imagining that?
It changes
Yes.
in the album. Like it's really kind of inconsistent.
Yeah, it's really weird. So suddenly it got better. Like I was like, wow. In fact, it was funny because when it started, I had to look at my Pandora. I'm like, oh, did it stop the album? Is this something else? But no, it was the album. We get an interesting drum intro here, which I wasn't expecting. Like he actually played a couple of extra hits. Pretty good. But still, no real bass runs coming from Bobby. And that was really my knock on him, it was just a lot of that like boo doo 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 doo. Like there was no runs. Just it was very boring. The lyrics here, again, not quite up to snuff for this album when it's like firing on all cylinders. It's like, this feels like it's firing on like half the cylinders. The arrangement of this song, super, super janky, especially heading into this guitar solo. Like, it's almost like when I've like made a drum beat on my DAW for a song and I've like accidentally put in like 3 too many fucking measures. And I'm like, I'll just write a stupid little piece of music here rather than go in and like start chopping everything up. It wasn't good. This feels like a bad version of a bad pop Kiss song, like from the Oh No Tears Are Falling era or something.
Oh, you're going to hurt Dave's feelings.
Nuh-uh.
Oh no, Dave, go
I
ahead.
understand.
Dave, go ahead. Talk about this song.
Yeah, it's a good beginning. I like that. Some nice whammy bar dives on guitar. The chorus is a little silly, but I do like the verses. And nice touch with those synth wedding bells at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, you're calling them synth wedding
Dude,
bells?
Yes.
What was that?
My note was terrible wind chimes.
Yes, I didn't understand it. I didn't remember hearing that.
And they're in tune. They're playing them in tune to the melody of the song. It's absolutely awful.
It's terrible. Lisa,
Yeah.
talk about this song.
Well, the opening of this song makes me happy. I like the drums. I like how the guitar comes in, and then the vocals come in and ruin all of it. I needed like a grittier, dirtier singer, right? And the pop vocals came in. The lyrics are just freaking awful.
Yeah.
So cheesy. They don't match the music at all. I feel like they didn't finish this song, and I want them to go back and redo it.
Yeah.
I fast forwarded it back in the day. I wanted to fast forward it today, but God, those wind chimes were just terrible.
This song's not good.
Yeah.
Track number 8, Blame It On You. So guys, if you ever wondered what a local Hollywood strip glam band demo sounded like in 1987, 88,
Here it is.
Refer to this song, because this is it. Like this chorus, when it's on, like I can literally hear the Glamour Punks in my head. I can hear like any of these bands from that era. And granted, Glamour Punks were definitely tougher, dirtier, more badass, nothing like Poison, but they had a couple of choruses that kind of reminded me of this chorus. This could be Wicked Gypsy. This could be fucking any of those bands from that time, right?
Glamour
and-
Punks. That was a Kicker in the Head, She's Dead, right?
Kick her in the head. She's dead.
Loved
she's dead.
it.
She's dead. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, hated by millions, loved by all. It's all sorts of good stuff. I fucking love the Glamour Punks. I still watch these live shows on YouTube that they did to this day. Mandy, Strange, Schizo, rest in peace. A really great guy I knew from my time in New York, playing in the Love Tribe. Jason was literally one of the coolest fucking dudes ever. So there you go. Now I will say on this track though, Bobby Dahl finally brings some good bass. Like he's playing bass lines. I'm almost wondering if it's not Bobby Dahl. Like maybe this is where he couldn't record that day and the fucking engineer picked up the bass and just played a great bass line. I don't know, but it's great. But the song is not up to snuff for a studio album. This sounds like a fucking 16 track at best demo. It's crazy. Dave.
Yeah, not crazy about this song. We rhymed pizzazz and razzmatazz in the first verse. That's just automatic. Nope, sorry.
Yeah.
The dueling
problem.
guitar solo is cute, but the guitar tone is so nasty and trashy.
Dude,
But
and I
that-
also put in this, these guitars are mixed so poorly and panned so strangely.
Yeah. But that's those Randall amps.
Oh, God. So it's not even a Marshall.
I don't think so. I don't think CC's ever used a Marshall.
I would suggest it. Not a bad move. Dave, what do you got? Do you have a Marshall head?
I do. Yep.
You do. Nice. Back in 1990, maybe when I was playing in Touch Me Hooker, I was dating a stripper at the time. Very nice girl. She took me down to Guitar Center and I bought a full Marshall stack. I got the JCM 800 head, the slant 412 cab, the straight 412 cab, the fucking wireless fucking guitar thing. This thing was fucking sick. I wish I had it to this day, but it was probably sold for a pile of crack at one time. Lisa, what do you got?
Oh my God, that's a terrible story. I remember
know.
that girl, by the way.
I know. Nice
Very-
girl.
She was very nice. Yes. So this song's a little more of a rocker, a little bit dirtier, a little more. You guys called it 80s demo. I called it like Dirty Strip Club, which I think is about the same. Lots of 80s cheese, but did you catch the kind of nice little trick with words they did in the lyrics? Wastes all my money, spends all my time.
No.
It's like the flip of the words. I actually like that.
I was checked out by then.
Yeah. I didn't like how the guitar solo went from left to right on the speakers. I got confused. I was like, is this wrong? Like, did they do it wrong? Like, was that a mistake or?
Yeah, well, it's just two. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Dueling guitar
Yeah.
solo. It's like you got the one on the left,
Yeah.
one on the right, and they go back and
And
forth.
that wasn't a mistake?
No,
it
it
felt
was
like a
it was a
mistake.
choice, but they could have probably made it sound a little nicer,
Dave,
a little
the problem was like last week when we did that Whitesnake album, and Lisa was like, how did he make it sound like two guitar players left and right? Did he just play, like they were trying that, but it just sounded like CC DeMille playing two solos.
It did. Yeah. I do have a note that I liked the bass line behind the lyrics before the guitar comes back in.
Yes.
It's my only bass note for the entire album, which I think
Me
you
too.
said the same thing. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's not Bobby Dahl.
You know, the song was only 2.5 minutes. Did you notice that? Thank goodness, right?
Oh, God.
I didn't hate it though. It's better than the last song. So
Oh boy. Track number 9, number 1, Bad Boy. So this song definitely does not say bad boy to me anyway. I'm not getting bad boy. It's just so simple. And this double lead vocal that they did in stereo with the pitchy vocals, dude, it was fucking terrible. I hated it. The solo sounded like Tracy Guns completely shit-faced live on stage. This is just terrible. And then this chorus outro where they added these extra lines to it. Oh, it was fucking just terrible. I hated this. Dave, what do you got?
I didn't think this one was as bad as the last one. I think it's a great riff. Guitar tone seems a little better here. I did note those double-tracked vocals. I liked the guitar solo. I thought it was pretty good, and you can almost hear the bass here.
Yes. Yeah. Lisa, what
who
did you
doesn't
think?
love a bad boy?
Oh, but they're not bad boys, and the song wasn't Bad Boy.
The tempo on this song was a little weird. I thought it was too slow for what it should have been. It felt like they slowed it down. I don't know why they did that. They shouldn't have. There are some good lyrics in this song. I'm no upstanding citizen, but I'm standing up just the same. That's kind of cool. I like the delivery of when he says like two-faced, rat race, disgrace. And then I think about it now and I'm like, wow, that sounds awful and cheesy. But I liked it when I heard it. Great guitar solo. That was my note on that. I think if this song was sung by a less poppy vocalist, it probably would have been maybe a little bit better. But I like the ending where they repeat like number one, bad boy. I like that.
The callback.
I
I
like
actually
that.
like that too.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, to each their own. It's art in its way, right? Oh,
Yeah, a different singer might have been able to sell it better.
Yeah.
yeah, I was done by this time. So track number 10 is the final song on the album, Let Me Go to the Show. And again, here we go. And I'm so glad it happened like this. CC DeVille rips some good glam blues here. Ricky Rocket, he's doing his best Crocus Ballroom Blitz impression. Like, that's just all I could hear. Like, it sounded like the drums to that song, only, like, simplified. The vocals and the lyrics are just okay. Brett is so vanilla, and by now I'm just not buying it anymore. I'm really bored with Brett Michaels. Like, if he wants to step outside, I'm fine to go outside and punch him in the face. Song is fine. Ends the album with a soft punch, and it's over, and I will probably never listen to it again. But there you go. Dave.
So here's the story. A long time ago, I wrote a song. Only after I had recorded it on my 4-track did I realize I'd completely ripped off this song.
I want to hear that.
Whoops. I did try to change it around some, so it wasn't exactly the same. And I did wind up playing it in a couple of my bands for years. So it all worked out okay. This song is pretty good, too. The mix is pretty clear. You can hear all the instruments. And then funny story that wasn't mine, but my old friend Pete. What's up, Pete? From Woodbridge, New Jersey, that lived on my street, a couple doors down. The first time he played this at his house, he was cranking it pretty loud. At the end where presumably a fictional dad says, "You heard your mother, turn that shit off." He thought it was actually his dad saying that and immediately turned it down. Just always remembered that. It stuck with me. Always remember that story.
That's funny.
I love that part of the song
Dave,
when they
was
have the
that-
fake dad.
Was it taken directly from the Twisted Sister video? Because it sounds exactly the same.
No, they probably just had like the producer, come in and yell. But
I thought that was like a crossover band thing there because it really sounded so much like it to me. I thought that it was done like as a tongue-in-cheek type thing.
maybe it was intended to sort of, kind of get that vibe
Yeah,
of
I
the, that guy, the actor.
Lisa, how did this close the album out for you?
I love this closing to the album.
Okay.
You guys are kind of down on this song, and I actually like it. This is a song I love seeing them play live. They don't always play this song, and I've seen them quite a bit, as I said earlier, and I love hearing this one. This is like a nice jammer when they play it live. This was me singing back in the day
Nice.
to my mom, begging to go to shows. I know it's about a boy, but it was me begging to go out, and they always ended up letting me go.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that Brett actually had this discussion with his mom back in the day, and that's where this song came from. I love the lyrics. I can hear my mama scream from 10 miles away. And the scream he does is not that great, right? Like,
No.
because he can't hit the note, but it's still a good part of the song. I think that this song was written for kids, whereas a lot of the songs were written probably for young adults, more older people, and this might have given them a younger audience, which I think was kind of great because it's a kid asking permission to do something. I think this was a great ending to the album.
I was glad he didn't go for the note like he did on Half Alive,
Yeah.
Half Dead. I just can't tell. I
Yeah, it's
preferred
more like a
this to that.
screech.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
preferred
yeah.
this to that.
Yeah. So in 2005, they remastered this album, and they had a couple more songs on it. I don't know if you guys listened to the
I did.
extra songs. Yeah.
I listened to him today.
Yeah, and so it's two single versions, 7-inch single versions. One of I Won't Forget You, and the other one was I Want Action.
Yep.
And I didn't hear too many differences. They sounded almost identical. I expected like a remix or something that there wasn't.
No.
And then there was a cover of Don't Mess Around with Jim from Jim Croce, which I am really glad they didn't choose that for the original album because I didn't like it at all.
Me neither.
So-
I had all the same thoughts about those.
Yeah.
Dave, was that 4-track you had a Tascam Porta 1?
It was a Fostex.
Mine was a
X18.
Mine was a Tascam Porta 1. I've always been a songwriter before everything. Even as a little dude, I remember I bought my first guitar and my Tascam Porta 1 at the same time, and it was just on from there. Like, I loved my 4-track as much as I loved my guitar. Okay, so that's it. We have broken down the album. I think we did a good job. I think that we were very thorough. You now should know more than you'd ever need to know about Poison. Okay? Like, you're gonna, if you ever go to a party, somebody says, anybody know anything about Poison? You're ready to go.
Covered.
You're covered. No charge. So let's do some favorite songs we cut. We'll bring someone in. We'll kick someone out. You know the drill. So my favorite song is "I Won't Forget You." It's the fucking best song on the album. It's excellent. Song I would cut would probably be number 1, "Bad Boy," just because it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, fucking bad boys. These guys aren't bad boys. I would remove Bobby Dahl from the band, and I'd replace him with one Vinny Chaz from Pretty Boy Floyd because I think he would have fit in seamlessly. I don't think you would have heard a difference, but and that's the late Vinny Chaz. So rest in peace, Vinny Chaz. Dave, talk about it.
Favorite track, Cry Tough. Track I would cut, Blame It On You. For replacement, well, these guys are perfect for each other, but in my head, I can kind of hear these songs being sung by Steve Sex Summers from
shit.
Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yikes.
So not sure if that's a lateral move or what, but
Man,
you know,
guys
hey,
are just rebuilding Pretty Boy Floyd.
I know.
But fucking what's his face? Who's the guitar player? Pretty Boy Floyd?
Christy Crash Majors.
Christy Crash Majors in the day, man. Like, that's as cool as you could look, like, if you were doing glam. Like, that dude looked cool. Steve Summers, vocally, that would not be a lateral move, in my opinion. I think Brett was probably a little bit better. But Steve Summers had the hair, man. Jesus Christ, that guy had good hair in the day. Okay, Lisa, do it.
Favorite track, I Won't Forget You, obviously.
Yep.
The track I would cut is Want Some, Need Some. I think they just need to do it better and put it on the next album, something like that.
Sure.
This was a tough one for me. In my head, I'm wondering what the band would have sounded like if they chose Slash instead of CC, but that's not my pick. This would have been a different band if they did that, and Guns N' Roses would have been a different band, so that would have been a strange world for us.
I don't like that world.
Yeah. I'm replacing Bret Michaels with David Lee Roth.
Oh, interesting. I think Dave had a little too much testosterone for this band. I think he would have impregnated Poison.
That's what they needed.
Fucking the rest of the band would have been walking around like 9 months pregnant. Okay. Interesting. And no slight on Steve Summers. Steve Summers was on my wall. I thought that band looked great. I had that Pretty Boy Floyd album when it came out. I listened to it a lot. I really enjoyed it at the time, is the caveat. I really enjoyed it at the time. Okay, so there you go. Let's do some final thoughts, and we'll score it, and we'll log it. So my final thoughts on this album is this is an important album in the history of glam metal, right? It's not technically great, but it is loaded with great choruses. It is overall super safe and super vanilla, super fun. So for me, this is pushing 81.3 watts, which honestly is probably a little high from a technical standpoint, but it's pop culture. It's iconic. It deserves every bit of it. Dave.
Sales of this album started kind of slow and built over about a year as they toured and gained fans. I'm definitely glad they broke big with Talk Dirty to Me. They are still out there today, just a few years ago participating in a successful stadium tour with Def Leppard and Motley Crue and Joan Jett. There are also rumors that they will tour again in 2026. I like this album a lot. It has a much more raw and trashy feel than their later albums that had their bigger hits. And it kind of opened the door for other super glam bands like Vane and Pretty Boy Floyd to come along shortly after. I still have my copy of Pretty Boy Floyd, and I still like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm down.
They toned down the look for their next albums, but they kept the bandanas and the foofy hair. All that eyeliner and lipstick must have been wiping out their budget. The low recording budget of the album seems to have worked out okay here. Some great songs here and a couple filler tracks. My final score is 87.6 on this one.
Nice. Yeah, I actually had it closer to that while I was at work today, and then it kind of got dented when I got home. Lisa, go ahead.
I hope you guys don't hate me over this. This was an interesting one for me. I feel like on this re-listen, I wish I gave them more attention back in the day than I did, because they were very poppy and I was very dark and I was a goth girl, and it was like I was too cool for this album. And I kind of, now with the re-listen, I kind of wish I wasn't, right? Probably not going to listen to this again now, except for Life Goes On, which I do listen to regularly, and I'll probably bring I Won't Forget You back into the rotation after hearing it on this. I'll still sing along when cover bands play them. I'll still dance to them at 80s night. I'll still wear my Poison concert shirts, including the one with the Jack Daniels bottle that my dad bought me that got me kicked out of, sent home from school for wearing.
Yeah.
I will still do that.
Rebel.
Yeah, I listen, obviously I listen to dark music then and now, like darkwave and goth and black metal. But it was nice to listen to some Pure Sunshine this time. It really was just like a uplifting and happy album. So, yeah.
I used to get sent home from school because I tattooed Eat Me on my arm with India ink. And I would, just like Nikki Sixx, because that's what a little follower, mindless fucking goon I was. And yeah, they would put a Band-Aid on it and I'd take it off and I'd get sent back to the office and they'd send me home. And finally they just stopped asking me to come. I was able to quit school with no problem.
Sweet.
Okay, so there we go.
So my score, I didn't give you my score. My score, please don't hate me. My score is 73.
73.
Yeah.
Well, I think I went a little high and I think Dave went a little high. So I think it's all worked out. So will you guys please calculate those scores and tell us how many watts Look What the Cat Dragged In is pushing?
Sure. On the Violent Vinyl album chart, Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In, their debut album, is pushing 80.63 watts, putting them at slot 4, below Vane and above Whitesnake.
That score for me is perfect because I was thinking today, this is an 80s. This band is low 80s. It's perfect. There it is.
I think we're going to get another call from David Coverdale about this, him now being number 5 on the chart.
Oh, God. Well, eventually we'll bump into some fucking mutant that'll fucking save him.
We might have to screen our calls.
Like maybe we'll do a Dio album and it'll like lift them up a little bit. I don't know. Okay, so there you go. Lisa, you have got the next pick. Please tell us and the listeners what album we should be listening to so they can follow along next week and we can join the discussion.
Okay, so next time we will be listening to another band that identifies with bright neon green. It is the premier gothic metal band Type O Negative, third studio album, Bloody Kisses, released on August 17th, 1993. And the reason that I'm choosing them, they're outside of the glam feel. They were a gothic metal band, but it is the premier album of this genre. This band reached mainstream success and played on the radio alongside a lot of our glam icons. They also toured with them, including Motley Crue, King's X, and Queensryche. Also with Nine Inch Nails, White Zombie, Danzig, Life of Agony, Sisters of Mercy, and things like that. So I think a lot of people listening to a lot of different kinds of music, whether it be punk or traditional metal or goth metal or even glam, have come across this band at some point. Not to mention one of the most recognizable frontmen, eclipsing even the brightest of glam stars, 6'8", the late great Peter Steele.
Yeah, Peter Steele was fucking real badass, man. And I think he could drive a boat with his penis.
we all could see that because he showed it to us.
Yes, he did.
So,
yeah, and if you haven't heard this album, people out there, you know, I know we got a lot of metalheads and guys from the 80s that, you know, like glam metal and hair metal. Don't poo-poo this one. Don't poo-poo this one. Go listen to it. Check it out. This is not Nine Inch Nails. And, you know, and I saw, you know, you guys, a lot of people listen to Nine Inch Nails show. It ended up getting a lot of traction. So I appreciate you listening to that show. I know it's not really in our genre, but I see you all did. But this one, I think if you like the hair metal, I think you're going to enjoy this. So go check it out. Go ahead, Dave.
Pretty sure it was on Headbangers Ball
Oh,
back in
definitely.
the day.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm really looking forward to breaking into this one again. I haven't listened to it in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to it myself. So there it is. And guys, do you want to do Fastway's Trick or Treat for the Halloween show?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I think we need to. Okay, I think
Yes,
we need to. Okay,
definitely.
so everybody mark that on your calendars at home. We're going to do Trick or Treat by Fastway, and it's a kick-ass album with some killer guitars. Okay, so we got that. We'll be back this week. Hey, did you ever see that movie? Our sister podcast. We will be breaking down The Burbs, the Tom Hanks movie, and that will be done with Pat and his fully packed bong and his goofy. Yes.
The Tom Hanks movie. It's the Corey Feldman movie.
Oh, dude, Corey Feldman. Spoiler alert: he ruined the movie. So there you go. All right, guys. So that's it, Lisa. Thank you for joining me. Dave, thank you for joining me. Once again, you guys have done all your homework. You brought all the information. I was just along for the ride to keep the train off the tracks. So until next time, take those albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. See you next time.